Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friday live stream. We got a lot of things to go over, so let's just jump right into it. So first of all, as everybody knows, there's a little bit of a pullback in the market. I think most of you know what's going on, but I see it as three different things. It comes down to nuclear submarines and the call of what it is from the U.S. to Russia. We're also taking a look at jobs data and tariffs. So as we can see today, weren't we just like at 117K not too long ago? Now here we are over 24 hours or so, and just took a big sideways dumperoo. And we can see that's the good one. Bitcoin's only down 2.7%. And of course, alts are being alts. Ethereum down 5.1%, except for XRP. Congratulations, XRP holders. You're only down 2% today. Fantastic. 4.4, 5.2, and across the board, that's what it is. And of course, S&P 500 is also down after it made a marvelous run up to 6,400. Roughly a couple of days ago, 63.89, 64, and somewhere around there. And so the question is, what's happening? What's going on? I think we mostly know what it is, but it's something to dissect and take a look at. And the question is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Because you only have a small sphere of control, just like me. So we are going to take control of what we have access to and let the other stuff play out as it may. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, and let's get into it. So first of all, this is from the President of the United States and his social account over at Truth Social. And this just came out about an hour, 2 hours ago. He says, just to let you know, based on the highly provocative statements of the former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, who is now the deputy chairman of the Security Council of the Russian Fed, I've ordered two, not one, but two, double your pleasure, double your fun, two nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions, just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that. Words are important and can often lead to unintended consequences. I hope this will not be one of those instances. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And before everybody says, well, is this it? Is this World War III? First of all, I don't know if these are two nuclear-powered submarines, which makes sense, or if they are two nuclear-powered submarines as well as having nuclear warheads. Didn't say here. So I'm not for sure, but this is what was put out, and I'm pretty sure it has a little bit of weight to the market. On top of that, we got that insane jobs number revision. It's from Kobeissi Letter. Great stuff. Said we must receive some massive downward job revisions. May's jobs report was revised down by 125,000. So in May, it looked like there was a plus 144,000 jobs. And somehow we overcalculated that by 125,000, and it was only 19,000 jobs. Not sure how that happens, but it is what it is. June was actually worse. It was revised down to 133,000 from 147,000 jobs to only 14,000. That's 250,000 jobs that vanished from the data in 2 months. Again, this is odd. It's just very odd. My question was this. I know there is a revision being done all the time. We see that in just different economic data. My question was, what's the average? How often does this happen? We know it happens a lot. I asked Grok. Grok states the average revision to BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, monthly non-farm payroll employment changes. That's first, the final estimate, 1979 present, is plus 12,000 jobs with an average absolute revision of 57,000 jobs. And I thought to myself, okay, I can see 57,000, but 250,000 just seems a little bit odd. I don't know, maybe I'm off here. Let me you think about that in the comment section. So what are you going to do about it? Well, me and you aren't going to do anything because this is not in our sphere of control. What is going to happen is someone's going to get fired. And this, again, is from Trump and Truth Social. I was just informed that our country's job numbers are being produced by a Biden appointee, Dr. Erica McIntarfer, Commissioner of Labor Statistics, who faked the jobs numbers before the election to try and boost Kamala's chances of victory. This is the same Bureau of Labor Statistics that overstated the job growth in March. I didn't know this. They overstated the jobs growth in March 2024 by approximately 818,000. That didn't sound right. And then again, right before the 2024 president election, by 112,000. Now I can get behind the 112,000 mistake, but it's only 100,000, right? But $250,000 or 818,000 just seems kind of high. Anyhow, that's for the president to deal with, and that's what's happening. So someone gets fired. I'm sure that's going to be a nice spicy topic in the comment section. I just report the news. I don't make it. And that's what's happening. So we have, of course, nuclear submarines. Don't know if it's a nuclear warhead. Don't know if it's nuclear powered. We have the jobs numbers. And then we got these things called tariffs, which August 1st is the day, right? Yeah. And here's the tariff so far. And because these deals are not struck, these are the tariffs that are here. And you can find this on The Guardian. And going on page 1 through 5, you can see that the big offenders, Brazil, 50%. Whatever. Canada, 35%. China at 30%. Mexico, 25%. And the EU at 15%. It's pretty good for the EU. Only 15% because Syria, Laos, Burma, Switzerland, pretty high. Iraq, Serbia, Algeria, Libya. All right, whatever. Anything good here? Cambodia, Pakistan, Philippines, Thailand, about 19%. Kazakhstan, only a quarter. That's good for them, I suppose. Or for us. Democratic Republic, North Macedonia. Here we go. And the UK. Look at the UK, only 10% for tariffs. So this, of course, we don't know if this is going to be massively inflationary because, you know, as these tariffs work, it's not like this is going on the companies, or excuse me, it's not for the governments. These tariffs that come in, the companies that import these goods from Norway, for example, they have to pay a tariff of 15%. That goes right to the US government. That is essentially 15% in the government's pocket. Now the question is, are these companies going to put this into the consumer and say, hey, sorry, here's some body lotion, and what used to be $10 and now it's $11.50. Sorry, we got to pass that on to you. Or are they going to eat some of the costs, or are they going to negotiate? It's anybody's guess. We'll see where it comes from, but that is what's spooking the markets today. And there is a big talk I see about of recession. So with all these things happening, we see yields, bonds, treasuries kind of lopsided. We see people going, well, if the economy is doing poorly, actually, we just saw that the unemployment rate went up by, I think, 0.10. So there was an elevation. There is a little bit of elevation in inflation. And now with these jobs numbers, the job market is not as robust as we thought it is. I see a lot of talk about inflation, or excuse me, recession. And you're going to hear that a lot. So what does that mean? Well, it means that there's a slump in GDP, even though it's actually a 3 right now, 3.0, but the economy is not doing as strong as we thought. If that is the case, then what does that mean for your bags? Let's just be honest. That's what everybody wants to know about. If we get a recession, and it could happen, I'm not saying it's not, I just want to remind everybody that recessions, they average 10 months. I'm not saying we're going to get a recession. I'm just saying these are the numbers, historically speaking, going all the way back to 1949 to present day. Some are longer, some are shorter, but they average 10 months. And there's a difference between the markets and the economy. And I want to show you this. I want to go over this again. We talked about this a long time ago because there was a bigger chance of a recession. Not as much right now, but who knows? I just want to remind everybody so nobody freaks out. I don't want you to be that people. It's like, I heard a recession, so it's awful. Recession goes like this. In the 90s, the recession to the market bottom was 3.5 months. And then the market bottom to the recession end. This is the markets. Again, there's a difference between the traditional markets, or markets, S&P 500, NASDAQ, stocks, all those things, also for our markets. Recession market bottom was 3.5 months, but for the economy to actually recover, it took another 5 months. So again, average 10 months, this one was 8.5. Next one, 2000. Recession to the market bottom, at the start of what they call a recession, was 6 months, and then it took another 2 months for the economy to recover. Same thing here. Oh, this is a little bit different. This is the Great Recession, when the recession to market bottom was 15 months and took another 3 months to recover. That one did suck. And then, of course, coronavirus, like a 2-month type of thing. So yes, it could be 10 months, but historically speaking, we might see 6 to the market bottom and then we rise up again. It's anybody's guess. But I just want to remind everybody that it's not as long as you think it is if this actually does happen, so plan accordingly. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. This will be pretty good. And lastly, what am I doing? So personally, what I'm doing, I don't know for sure if we're going to go into recession, it's going to all fall apart, or if we're going to go World War III. I have no idea. But for me, when I take a look at this, I just remember back in 2020, when everybody was up in arms about this thing. It was called the coronavirus. I don't know if you heard about it. It was big, big, big. Everybody was freaking out. And they were like, half the planet was going to die. It was going to be the worst thing of all time. And Bitcoin dropped to like $3,500, 300, I think, somewhere around there. And it was a great opportunity. Just really was. And I always look at that and think to myself, how many times is that going to keep happening? Well, it seems like we're having that again. So for me personally, I bought Bitcoin today. I bought Ethereum today. I bought Solana today. I bought Cardano today. And I bought Sui today. I think it was one more, something like that. Anyhow, bought them off Kraken. And I'm just not too massively concerned. Now, later on, I mean, we could keep going down, but so much the better. I'm not here for just a little bit of time. I'm here for a long time. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm not saying that's what you should do. Obviously, it's not financial advice. But I was curious as to what some of the more traders are doing. People who really get into the charts and really get into it and go through the minutia of what's happening. And because of that, I talked to Wes over at Smart Money Tracking, and I had him on the show, and we did like a quick 7-minute interview. If you don't know Wes, you got to follow him. Good kid, good guy. Links in the description. But just take a listen to this. This is me and Wes talking about smart money and what they're actually doing on chain, and a couple of different data points that you should be aware of. All right, let's take a listen. Okay. All right, Wes. So here we are yet again, and it looks like the markets are doing what, I don't know if anybody could predict this, but today is just one of those dumper of a days. So let me ask you a couple questions. First of all, what the heck happened? Where are we going? And what are you doing? Are you buying, selling? Are you all the way out? Or are you going all the way in? I know it's a lot of questions, so let's just start with what the heck happened?
So many things have happened over the last few months, right? I mean, we had Cathie Wood come out, say BTC is going to hit 1.5 million. Tom Lee said Ethereum is going to hit 60K or so. And meanwhile, the smart money have almost run out of money. So I don't know exactly where the money is going to come from. We've talked about this on your channel a couple of times before. So for those that are new,
thank you. For those that are new.
For those that are new, this is the balances of the smart money inside crypto. So the balances of their stable coins, and it doesn't pick up BTC. So it's looking at Ethereum, Solana, most of the altcoins basically. So it gives us a good analysis of what they are doing with their stable coins. So historically, when we go into a bull run, they'll start to sell, they'll start to take profits. And then when we go into a bear market, they'll start to buy back in, right? So we can clearly see their stable coin balances are dropping as they buy back into the market. And I've used this on the last 2 times to sell. So the first time I took some profits off the table was when they run out of money. And then we started to see them also take profits again. And then I started to take more profits around December, January, again, when they'd run out of money. And then again, I've recently entered some short positions because we've come back down to this euphoria level. So it almost feels like every time we come back to this level, if most of the people in the space of kind are out of stable coins, where's the money going to come from? Right. So yeah, really, really interesting data for. And then if we have a look over at the S&P as well.
Oh, hold on, real quick, Wes. Before we move on, talk to us real quick about when that, specifically when that was, because you were one of the few guys I know that took profits during this time when nobody was taking profits. What time was this when you were taking your big profits?
So we started to take profits March 2024, March and April 2024. So I think I think render was like $12.30. I think today it might even be $4 or $3. Solana was 190. I think we got it at like 23. And most things were up 10, 15, 25x. There was mass euphoria across socials, higher, higher, higher. We had about 10 different signs that we look for a kind of a bit froth, you know, when the markets get a bit frothy. And yeah, I only sold 30%, so I wish I'd sold more because altcoins strangely didn't recover. Most altcoins are still massively down from March 24. And for the first time, we saw altcoins go into this 12, 14 month almost bear market, right? So yeah, they didn't really cover. We had a relief rally here, so we sold again in January. You'll probably remember, I think Sui we sold about $5. So it went from it went from 0.8 or 0.9 up to $5. I mean, in crypto, that's not really what we're used to, like for those who were here last cycle, but yeah, we seem to see these lackluster runs. I mean, a 5x is still a 5x, right? I'm not going to cry about it, but last cycle, Bitcoin would go up, what, 50%, 100%, and altcoins would go up 10x, 15x. It was crazy, some of the moves we'd had. But again, there was only a few altcoins back then, and now there's millions. So
yeah, so yeah, sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that one. So now go back to what we were talking about before. You were going from smart money to another chart.
Yeah. So then, if we have a look at the SPX, this is the S&P, guys. The reason I look at the S&P is because crypto historically tends to follow tech stocks, and we haven't seen that breakaway yet. Maybe Bitcoin will follow gold one day, but for now, the S&P comes down. Crypto tends to come down, and we're in this kind of channel. So you see this orange channel here, this massive orange channel stretches a long way back. We've been in this channel for some time, and every time we come to the top of this channel, we do start to get this downturn to the bottom of the channel, which has acted as the floor. And then we come to the top of the channel, and this is where we sold again, right? Just January 25, and opened some shorts. And then this is where we bought at the bottom of the orange channel. And again, took some long positions down here. And now we're at the top of the orange channel, and this is where I took some shorts over the last few days. Now, I don't know if this is going to continue to play out, but we can't deny that we have a consistent pattern here of bouncing off the top, bouncing off the bottom. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen, right? I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I don't know how it's going to play out. We could quite easily come down here, find some support on the 6,000 and then retest the top. I'm just saying that every time we touch this top orange line, I'm going to take shorts until proven otherwise, right?
It's been working out pretty well for you. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's doing pretty well. And then BTC, we have some similar resistance. So obviously this is the resistance from 2017. Now we did break through this for the first time since 2017. So it was resistance here. And we did break through this recently, but the monthly candle yesterday closed below. Okay, so the monthly tried to pierce through. We went up to like 1, 2, 3, and then it closed below and started to turn red. So for now, there was an argument that we were repeating last cycle, and it does look kind of similar. It looks like, an M pattern, and then maybe we come down and we break this bull run trend line, and you could argue M pattern, double top here, break the trend line, maybe come down into a correction. It does look very, very similar. Now, that's very doomsday, guys. We have a lot of ETF. We have a lot of interest from BlackRock and institutions. I do want to see a monthly close above this resistance line here. Otherwise, the trend is your friend until the end, and the monthly is definitely closed below.
Sounds good. Okay. So what do you think? So taking all into that, so right now you essentially you're taking some shorts out because you see that there's some resistance. You see you're at the top of the channel. Anything else you're doing here? Are these shorts, is that just the SPX, or are you doing anything with some of your altcoins?
So at the moment, altcoins I find are very volatile, and the market caps are quite small in altcoins. So the market caps are sitting around, a lot of the altcoins I would probably short are sitting around 500 million, and it's very easy to manipulate those. A market maker can come and liquidate you at any point whatsoever, and I don't really like my odds. If you look at how many traders get liquidated on altcoins, it's scary. I prefer to trade larger market caps, especially with so much manipulation.
Yeah.
So I'm sticking to Bitcoin and Ethereum personally. That's not to say that they can't be moved around with large amounts of money. It's just a lot harder. If you look at Michael Saylor, he bought over $2 billion worth of Bitcoin and it basically didn't move, right? So it does take colossal amounts of money to move, and you might get a more organic movements on some of these coins. So I'm sticking to Bitcoin and Ethereum for now. If I make some gains in my Bitcoin shorts and ETH shorts, and I make a 3x or 4x, I might take a little bit off the table and have a little gamble or a risk on some altcoins that maybe look a bit overbought. But yeah, I'm not really shorting those. If I was, I would just literally stick to whatever altcoins pump the most and has the largest market cap. So Hype, for example, pretty large market cap, still could be manipulated, but pretty large market cap, has pumped a lot. Some would say massively overvalued. That's what I would do personally.
Sounds good. So everybody, summarize: Bitcoin, ETH, pretty much the safer play. SPX out there, sure. And of course, you want to be a gambler, hyper liquid, and the sub 500 million market cap. Wes, thanks again for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Now you can find Wes on his YouTube channel, and you can also find him in his group, and I will link those in the description below. Wes, any closing thoughts before we take off?
No, nice one, Rob. Appreciate that. And I think actually I didn't show you the green. I didn't show you the glass node. Sorry about that. Forgot to show you this one. Yeah, this is probably last closing thoughts. This has been historically so accurate. This is the P&L on Bitcoin, and when we go into the green, we usually go into the bear market, yellow, orange, red. When we go into the green, last cycle, it pretty much marked the tops, then yellow, orange, red marked the bottom, and now we're in green, right? So historically, we're in the worst time to buy. If you're a swing trader, right? If you're not just buying and holding long term. And now I'm kind of waiting for yellow, orange, red in a longer term sort of scale. And also I'm waiting for us to come back to the CVDD. Every time we've come back to this orange line down here, it's pretty much marked to the local bottom. And I'm looking for us to get closer to this. I'm not saying that it's going to happen again. I'm looking for us to get closer to this and looking for it to line up with this, and then looking for it to line up with the smart money, and just kind of looking at everything as a whole, right? And trying to look for confluence.
Gotcha. You know what I'm going to do? Because of those are so valuable, I'm going to link those charts, the ones you just showed, the cumulative value days destroyed, and then the NUPL, the profit and loss. I will link those in the description so everybody can check those out, and we can go from there. Okay.
Perfect.
Wes, thank you so much, my friend.
Nice one, Famison. Take care.
All right. Woo. That was a long one. That was a good one. So everybody, that's would be Wes. And hey, good news. I got Wes here to answer all your questions. So that will conclude the news and interviews. Let's talk to Wes and do a little Q&A. Wes, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, man? How you doing? You right?
I'm okay. I was coffee went down the wrong side of the throat there, but everything's good. I just watching.
I was all right. I'm literally watching the Bitcoin price melt for 113K. It's not
really?
quite. It's not in 112 yet, but it's just gone through a really strong support that I was hoping would have a small bounce. Yeah.
Oh, man, let me take a look at this. You want to? Look at that.
The S&P's having a little bit of some buy pressure, but I'm seeing no buy pressure on BTC.
Well, like we say, I mean, people say, we know that Bitcoin is the safer play in the long run, but not everybody sees it like us. So the traditional finance players are looking at Bitcoin and going, you know what? I got to get rid of this as fast as I can so I can put it into, I don't know, gold or silver or something that they think is going to outperform. It's always the same thing.
Gold's up big today. I couldn't buy gold personally because, even though it just went up $10 trillion, which is crazy, but it did go sideways for 10 years. And I just don't think I have that much willpower. If I bought gold today, There's no way I could sit through 10 years of downside. You'd have to go through 2 crypto bull runs, like a Bitcoin bull run. And you'd have to have so much patience. I couldn't do it, 10 years.
Well, Wes, I mean, you've got enough patience to buy real estate like we talked about today. So, I mean,
True. That's
in
true.
that
That's a good
situation-
argument, actually.
So, look, so people got some questions for you. Let's start with Uzi. He says, Wes, what alts do you hold, though? And do you hold any alts anymore?
So I sold most of my high risk alts in January, I believe, and some in March. I sold a lot of the high risk alts, and I kept the low risk ones. So I sold 30% in March 24 of everything, all my low risks, and then 30% again January 25. So I've got 30% left of Solana, Casper, Sui. I love layer ones. That's been where most of my money was made. BNB last cycle, Matic, Cardano, and there's been the same this cycle. Most of my gains were made on Casper, Solana, and I'm probably going to do the same next cycle. It's probably going to be a heavy L1. I love network effect, right? L1s are probably one of the few alts that have a really good use case, which is network effect. So yeah, those are the main ones I hold. I am trading in and out of alts. So I am trading in and out, but in this close to the end of the cycle, it's very, very hard, guys, to make some money on these alts.
Yeah, I'm not. See, this is why I bring you on, because I'm not a big trader like you and Tom Crown. I'll watch some of your videos and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So I just got to bring people on there that can talk to the trader out there. Hey, real quick, 2 things. Bailey says one of the board members for the Federal Reserve just resigned. That's interesting. I wonder which one it was. That's Bailey's usually on top of things. And then also shout out to Jesse, who just it says I broke my leg and currently laying in the hospital, but he broke his hip actually. And shout out to Jesse for, you guys think you're having a bad day and and of course, Jesse comes in with the real travesty. That sucks.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. Well, we all go through some type of health issues.
True.
Right?
True.
You know it. All right. I like this one from Golfer. All models are right until they're not. Show me a chart. I'll draw you some lines on it that look great. So
that's so true. That's so true. Sometimes we're so biased. We have a new chart and we'll draw a new line that fits our narrative. You have to be really self-aware sometimes in this space.
Yeah, exactly. Uzi follows up the question about the holds. What's your long-term alt? And is it all just layer ones that you talk about? Or is there like a specific one you're like, you know what, this one I'm really dedicated.
You probably don't want to hear my opinion on altcoins, guys. I'm not going to lie. I think there's probably 15 reasons why we're going to have one of the worst altcoin bear markets we've ever seen. And you can probably guess the main reason is we had 3,000 altcoins last cycle. So you've got all of these people are coming in for Elon Musk and all these institutions who started to buy last cycle. And it's like a funnel, right? They're all being funneled into a select few altcoins. Now, everyone became a dev. So last cycle, if you wanted to launch a coin on Ethereum, you'd need 50 grand, right? You need to add liquidity to the pool. Who wants to risk 50 grand or 100 grand in this market? And now it's free, right? Anyone can launch a token. Anyone can launch an altcoin. They'll add liquidity for you. So the barrier to entry is gone. There's millions of altcoins. This is going to be the first bear market we see where there's going to be millions of altcoins launched in the bear market because anyone can launch one now, right? No one wants to chuck 50 or 100 grand in last bear market. No one wanted to do anything. They were like, I'm not touching it till the bull run. Now you're going to see liquidity grabs, projects launching left, right, and center all the way down. When most of the altcoins are down 90%, 95%, you're going to see things pumping, right? You're going to see meme coins do 100x in the bear market because the cabal will launch one and they'll manage to get some attention and the market makers will lift it. It's going to be what the Wild West, this bear market. And we've just got too many cooks in the kitchen. I think it's going to be a massacre. So I'm not holding alts long term. Look, if I do hold an altcoin long term, there's 2 altcoins I would hold. It's Ethereum, purely based off the institutional adoption we're seeing right now. I wouldn't want to regret not holding that, considering the banks might have to accumulate it. And Solana is the other chain that I would hold a moon bag, but I am expecting both to go down into a bear market. So yeah.
It's a good one. You know, Ethereum, everybody wrote it off. But then all of a sudden, Robinhood came in and said, you know what? We're going to use Arbitrum, layer 2 solution for Ethereum to tokenize all of our stocks. And everybody's like, what? And now here we are. And now we got treasuries up the wazoo.
Did you see eToro posted yesterday as well, saying they're now bringing assets on chain as well?
I did not see that. So eToro is going to bring assets on chain. Do they say which chain they're going to use?
I think it's Ethereum.
There you
go. That's a massive, and also they're smart. They know that Robinhood are going to take the market share, and you can't just let one company take the market share. So now they all have to come on chain. And I think we saw, is it Charles Schwab also said they're going to start offering their clients Bitcoin and Ethereum. They were out for quite a while.
Yeah, JP Morgan that has an integration with Coinbase now. So Jamie Dimon must not hate it that much.
That's disgusting, isn't it? He put so many people off, and now he's like, buy it. Yeah, it's great.
Well, him, Peter Schiff and Warren Buffett. Who knows?
Well, even Larry as well, I guess. Even Larry was like, no one's interested in Bitcoin, and then trying to get the biggest dip of their life. It's funny. Watch what they do, not what they say, right?
That's right. And Wes is referring to as Larry Fink, the famous CEO of BlackRock, with their 10 bajillion assets under management. He's the one that said, nah, I don't see much interest. And all of a sudden he's like, we're going to do an ETF. Here we are. Adam, or AWD Van Life, says it was Governor Kugler who resigned from the Fed board. So who knows if it's a nefarious reason or just a reason like, I just got to step down. Well, I'll find out later. That's
I just got a notification saying emergency rate cut 1.5%. Surely that's
1.5 that's crazy.
That's not confirmed, right? Because
was it a guy who knows a guy? I know that guy.
It was someone trying to liquidate me, I think. Close your trade. Bitcoin is starting to have a little bounce. I think we might have a short-term bounce here. So I'm kind of tempted to hedge a little long. I'm still short from my shorts that I took the other day, but I don't know. We need to hold here. Otherwise, we're going to get a much lower, I think. We don't want to drop into the 112s.
Let's not drop in there. Well, I mean, I have a question for everybody in the comment section. Would you like to see something like below 110 for Bitcoin? Could you stomach that? And could you stomach below, say, 100K? And could you actually pull that trigger to buy? Or would it, in your mind, you think to yourself, you know what? If it goes below 112K, it can go below 110K. And if it can go below 110K, it can go to 90K. And you just keep having that play in your head until it just totally reverts or whatnot. Me, when I look at this, I'm like, okay, I already bought today. I bought this morning because my orders go off without a hitch on Kraken. And I think I might have to keep buying as it's going down. I'm not for sure. I have to take a look at it. But Igor, just real quick, Igor says you're going to see a lot of scams. Everybody, just want to do a quick update from yesterday. We talked about this nonsense. It was the TradingView ChatGPT integration, which was just a big fat scam. And there was one thing I didn't show everybody, which is when you guys see these scam videos and they're legit scams, there's these 3 dots right here. I know some people know how to do this, but you click on that dot and you click report and report it as a scam. And that way people don't lose their life savings like my friend did for downloading this ridiculous thing. And then also, we talked about this yesterday, and people said, hey, Rob, did you know that when I watched the replay of the stream, this particular ad was playing during your video talking about if you do this, you're going to, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much YouTube. So let's see if they took it down, because I actually got this from YouTube and says, hey, thanks for reporting the video, which was today. We might remove it. Maybe it is. And it is not. That sucks balls. That's just how it is. But yeah, that is definitely a scam. If you guys come across it, 3 dots, report it, please, and that's it. What do you think?
They're getting better. They're getting better, these AI scams.
They're smooth. Very
It's
smooth.
going to get worse.
Let's see. Share that on my Facebook page. I reported it many times. Thank you, Mary from Chi-Town. Mary asks, Wes, may I ask where you're from? I think Wes is from Kentucky. Just kidding. Wes, where are you from? UK?
Yeah, I'm from the UK, so just in a town outside London, so about an hour, 2 hours away from London. I've lived all over though. I lived in Belgium, oddly enough, for 4 years. I really liked it in Belgium, so I just decided to move there. Yeah, UK. Living in Dubai now. Living in Dubai. Very hot. Very hot. 43 degrees. So I've gone from the freezing cold to 43 degrees. So it's a massive, massive jump. I'm not moaning though. I'm not moaning. Waking up to the sun every day is beautiful as opposed to the wind and rain.
Yeah, I guess. But I know it sucked when your AC went out.
Oh my, yeah, that that made me regret being alive. That was horrendous. You don't really know how hot it is until your air conditioning goes. It literally, the whole floors went wet as well. Like the whole property went wet, which I couldn't understand. I guess it's the humidity and condensation.
That's okay. Hey, it's
yeah.
That's all you, man. That's all you. Hey, what about this one? What about this one? She just says, "Hey, Wes, you following India versus England Test series?" What's that?
I am not. I'm a bit of a loser nerd. All I do every day is follow the markets, and I literally don't have any brain capacity to fit any more information in with regards to sports. So yeah, I don't follow it at all. I used to be a big football fan, so I used to support Arsenal. I used to love football. I used to have those sticker books, and I used to know all the players' names and their stats. But there's only so much space. So I had to learn how to make music. Then I had to learn how to trade, and now I have to watch the markets all day, every day. I love it. I complain, but I love it.
And now you got to be a landlord because you got some new properties. So
first world problems. Yeah, first world problems.
This is true. Hey, who's got a good question for you? Because I mean, you're a big trader. You have things, I'm sure, that are just on the exchanges. Do you use any cold storage devices by themselves, or do you just keep it all on the exchanges? Because I mean, again, trading.
Yeah, so I tend to trade on exchanges. If it gets over a certain amount, like we had some good wins when Trump won, I took a very big long and I made a few 100,000, and I was like, this is too much to have on an exchange. So I put that into cold storage. I have a rule. I won't have over 100K on an exchange, because if I lose 100K, it's going to suck, right? But it's not going to be, I'm not going to be like, oh, why didn't I do this? Or why didn't I do that? So I keep it under 100K. I try to stick to the top exchanges. And cold storage, I'm a bit of a nerd with that as well. I have like 5 different cold storage wallets. So I use Ledger. I use, what's that other one?
Trezor? Tangem?
No, Tangem. That's it. Yeah, Tangem. I like that Ledger. So I actually done a lot of research into hardware wallets, and I like the Ledger. It's just never been really properly. It's been around for so long, right? It's been trialed and tested. Tangem hasn't been around as long. There is some questions. There's some questions here and there about some of the openness of it, or the open source code. But Ledger is Ledger. I do trust. I do trust Ledger. That's where most of it is.
See, I like that because you don't hear that too often. This is what I'm trying to preach about. If we're going to diversify our portfolio, we should diversify our cold storage, because God forbid we get wrench attacked and somebody comes in and is like, give me all your crypto. Okay, well, here's my ledger. And then you got one and they're like, okay, well, that's good. But if you have it under multiple and you keep those cold storage devices not on you, like West probably didn't keep 5 of them on him, right? No. Diddy is the same way from the Bitcoin family. He keeps the seed phrases in different countries, but like
so does Vitalik.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I'm like, that's a genius idea, but it's not like the whole thing. It's like he'll take half in like Spain and then half in like Thailand. I'm like, that's amazing. I mean, it's just something that I think it's important to do. There's a rise of wrench attacks. I'm sure that, I mean, it's a good thing that Wes, you're in Dubai, probably one of the safest places in the world, as far as I've heard. I mean, better than the places here in the United States sometimes. So yeah, congratulations. Let's see.
Yeah, the problem with Vitalik, I remember he had to move a lot of money, and he had to fly to his mum's house. He had to fly to 3 different countries to get access to his wallet. I mean, you don't need to do that unless you're doing serious money. I don't know.
No, Wes. If you have $100, you put $50 in the UK.
Yeah,
$50 in France. No, 25 in France. 25 in Norway. Just kidding. Let's see. Someone said take profit. Here's a good one. Jimmy says, have you ever lost money on exchange from a scam or a hack?
Yes. Last cycle, I had no idea. I thought every exchange was quite safe. And
Yeah.
I tried to take some money off an exchange and they wouldn't let me withdraw it. And they make you jump through all these hoops and holes. And for some reason, they wouldn't let me have access to it until the token had gone down 90%. And then they they said, yeah, fill your boots. Apart from that, I haven't been hacked. There is so many people in my community that they've came into their account and all their money's gone. They've been hacked. They've clicked a link and money's gone out of their account. I would say when you're setting up an exchange, always set up 2-factor, set up loads of, don't just have it as quick in and outs. Set up your 2-factor authentication, but yeah, no money on an exchange is safe. I've also heard even complaints about Coinbase. People have not been able to get access to their funds for many months on Coinbase. Not that they've been hacked, but they've just had to deliver all sorts of documentation to get access to it.
I've heard the same thing. It wasn't because of hack. It was because there was some kind of ambiguity of where they were from and and which countries they could service. And there was like a gray area and they lost it for I know it was over 6 months, and these kind of stories do happen. So
yeah,
I'm not, because even me, like going back and forth to Puerto Rico, I just take everything off. Well, I don't use Coinbase anymore anyhow. I just use Kraken. It's just, yeah, it works out. Hey, somebody asked about, I can't find it now, but they asked about what's your price target for Bitcoin this run?
Price target all time to the upside.
To the up.
We've already topped, mate. It's down only from here. No, no one can time the top. I would literally be guessing. If I had to give a top, there's 2 resistance levels, which is the 114k level and 130k level. And after that, I don't have any targets for the upside. We do, I think you saw in the video, I look at the Glassnode indicator, and that suggests that we're very, very close. And when I say very close, I mean between that in the next couple of months. And if you think about the last part of the cycle, the explosive move, sometimes it is a few weeks, guys. It's really not a big window that you have if you do get this blow off top. Usually it happens in Q4, but it doesn't happen for very long, and the window is very small. Most people miss it anyway. So but like Rob, I prefer to dollar cost average out. I buy in the bear market personally, and then I dollar cost average out in the bull run. And I've got a moon bag for that. And hey, if we hit 130, I would definitely, I'd definitely probably be completely out of the market by then. Yeah, very hard to predict the top. And don't forget, it is possible we've already topped, right? It's possible we've already topped.
See, and I want everybody to notice one thing, which is what I noticed, which is when Wes talks about it, he's like, yeah, if it hits 130, it's time to get out. Very calm, very collected, dealing with his sphere of control that he has. And the reason why I think Wes is like that is because he did the hard thing, which is what most of us did. Almost all of us here did, which was buy in the bear market when everybody's like, why are you buying that trash? Why are you buying that internet nerd money? And why are you throwing sand in the ocean? You're like, because it's going to go up and it's going to do pretty well for me. And that's why Wes has that attitude. That's why I have the attitude. That's why a lot of people in my comment section have that attitude, which is just like, hey, I did the hard stuff, just waiting. So yeah, I could see that. Hey, Wes, help me out. You did talk about the NUPL. What was the other one you talked about in the video? The value days destroyed?
CVDD it's called. CVDD. Maybe I can try and bring it up.
Coin value days destroyed.
Have you got
node.
it?
Cumulative still.
CVDD. It should be. Oh, you might not have. It's a paid indicator. Let me see if I can get it up. CVDD. This is phenomenal. This indicator is phenomenal, man.
This is the one. Coin. Cumulative.
CVDD.
But I have. This is different. This is the Bitcoin Magazine Pro.
Oh, okay. Let me just see. I think my one's loading up. Won't be a second.
I'm going to link this in to the description because I didn't do it. Sorry.
The glass note takes so long to load.
There you go.
Yeah, it's really cool that it's been so accurate.
This one right here. Yeah, that was a good one.
CVDD.
I do like that NUPL. It does show. Where did it? Hold on, Wes. Where did you go? Oh, there you are. Wes, did you do me a favor? Share your screen.
Yeah. Just loading. I've just had to log in. Oh, I've got it now. I've logged in. Let me share the screen. Okay.
Share. Boop. Boop.
Okay, sweet. Should be able to see it now. Can you see the CVDD?
I got you.
So yeah, every time we've come down to this orange line here, it's actually marked to the bottom, and it's scary how accurate it's been.
Oh, I've got. Sorry, Wes. I've got a nice picture of us. That's it.
Oh, okay. Let me
click on the tab option.
Must have shared the wrong screen.
Burp, burp, burp. Oh, that's mine.
Share screen. Share screen. Oh, here we go.
And there we are. Gotcha.
So yeah, CVDD. Every time we come down to this orange line, it's marked the bottom, and again back here. This was 2020. This was 2018 here. And then back here, last cycle, 2022, almost to the T. It's almost scary how accurate that was. And a lot of people obviously looking at this, and you know, when you've got a chart that's so consistent like this, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And also you have to remember that if the price has never dropped below this orange line, we've got more institutional adoption this cycle. I think we went 80% correction, 70% correction. It makes sense to have a smaller correction this cycle. And if we never come below this orange line, this orange line is going to be well above 40K. It's going to be above 50K by the time the price comes down. And the problem is, if the longer we stay up, the higher the orange line is going to move to the upside. So if Bitcoin stays up here and keeps climbing, the orange line keeps climbing, that means the new floor potentially keeps climbing. And it's quite possible, if I had to guess just off the market, it's quite possible this pushes up to 60, 70,000, this orange line. And, you know, I don't think a lot of people are expecting that as a floor, you know, 60, 70,000 Bitcoin. And it would also be the previous tops, right? It would line up with the previous tops, which is kind of what we've done almost last cycle. We went a bit below, but, you know, we almost leveled off around that kind of area. So it's going to be really interesting to see where this comes down. And obviously the banks have just been given permission to get Bitcoin. It's not fair. Well, they'll think it's not fair that they've not had a chance to play whilst retail and the companies have had the opportunity to accumulate. So the banks do want to see a crash and a pullback. And, you know, that when it comes down to that orange line, it's just going to be really interesting. I think that's going to be a nice area for accumulation.
I got to agree. I'm thinking to myself, if it does go down to that line, how many of these Bitcoin treasury companies are true believers? And I'm going to be the ones that's like, you know what? We're going to stay the course the whole time. Or if they're going to be like, you know what? we didn't believe in this anyhow. Let's just dump this and just try to get away with some gains because we are not Michael Saylor. I think that's one of the things. And also the same thing with Ethereum and any kind of altcoins that they're putting on the balance sheet. That's why we shouldn't round trip our bags. What you got, Wes?
Absolutely. I agree. I think I'd like to think that they have the smartest people around them, and they haven't been experienced with Bitcoin. They haven't been experienced with huge volatility that Bitcoin has previously carried. And I just hope those people around will say dollar cost average, right? They've seen Michael Saylor, they've seen BlackRock, they've seen, you know, the people who have prospered from dollar cost average into Bitcoin have ended up doing very well. And I'd like to think they're going to DCA. I also think that they wouldn't have gone all in, right? They can't be, you can't be managing huge companies like this and have put your entire bag into Bitcoin. I reckon someone said, look, historically, this is the worst time to buy Bitcoin, but also we don't want to miss it if it does kind of keep running. A lot of the retail like it when companies are investing in Bitcoin right now. So it might be good for our stock price. You know, let's put 10% of what we want to put in, and then we'll start to dollar cost average. That's what I would hope they are doing. And, you know, if they've got smart people around them, they'll have cash bags ready to deploy. So I hope that, because I'm a swing trader, I hope that everyone wants a crash and everyone wants cheap Bitcoin, so that we can get some decent prices. But I wouldn't be surprised if we have a 50% correction this cycle maximum. I wouldn't be surprised. So if let's say we topped at 120, that would already bring you to 60K floor. If we topped at 120 and we see a 50% correction. So the higher Bitcoin goes, the crapper it is for me. And that's the life of a swing trader.
You know, people will say, like, they'll hear 50%, like, that sounds ridiculously high. But if you go back from the all-time high years, 2013 to 2014, it was an 87% drop.
Yeah.
If you go from 2017 to 2018, it was 86%. And if you go from 21 to 22, it was a 77% drop. So 50% drop from Bitcoin all-time highs is not a bad thing. I mean, it's a bad thing if you're like, I put everything into it, now I'm 50% less. But if you do things right, right now, who wouldn't want to buy? If I give people right now the chance to buy Bitcoin at $55,000, $56,000, would you take it? You would.
Buy it. I'd buy it.
Anyhow, hey, last question, because it's getting late. And Wes has got to do stuff. There's a good one here from Cookin' John. Wes, being a notorious trader, what's your trading plan to short the backside of the cycle into the bear? And are you going to do that?
It's yes, yeah. I am shorting. I'm gonna short. I'm gonna short with extreme discipline. So I'm always gonna have stop losses. It's gonna be really hard. Let me see if I can show you the bull run trend line that I'm looking at. Okay, let me just share this screen. Oh, you can see it. You can see it.
I can see it. I can see all your text.
Okay, cool. So this is technically, this green line on the weekly is the bull run trend line. So let me just get rid of some of this so you can see it a bit clearer. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so this green sort of snake line here is the bull run trend line. So when we break this line, historically, the market comes to an end. So we kind of broke it here, really. We had this like mid-cycle pullback, and then we broke it here, and then this was the end. So this is kind of what I look for a time to go. We're flipping into a bear market, and I'm looking to short the market. The problem is with this is that you broke this trend line, so technically you are starting a bear, but then they brought it back and tried to liquidate all of the shorts, and you had like this fake out rally, which was quite a massive rally, really. It was, the price bounced 44%. People aren't used to the moves that we had last cycle. Like, this was like, we had 40% pullbacks were really normal last cycle. So then, yeah, and then we went bearish, right? And then we went bear market. So this is kind of what I'm looking for. This is the safe short, and this is probably where I'll put my biggest short on when we break through this green line here. So let's say this green line trends up like this, because this is all I've been doing this cycle. It's just going heavy here. This is where I took my huge BTC long. This is where I took my SUI long and Solana long. And, you know, when we come back to this line, two things are going to happen. It's either going to bounce or it's going to break, right? And so far it's bounced every time. And the question is, are we going to bounce or break? If we do break it, often what you'll get is a retest. So sometimes you'll come back and do a retest. This is where a lot of smart traders will take their trade, because then they can set a stop loss just above, and they're only risking a small amount for what potentially could be a huge trade, right? It's all about risk management. What are you risking? What are you prepared to try and make? And for now, I think I mentioned the 130K level, and that's because we have our top resistance here. So we're in this channel, and I was kind of hoping that we push up like this and potentially hit 130K resistance, you know, big psychological number. But we've started to have a sell-off early. We started to sell off early, and we didn't push to the upside for now.
All right. I'm okay with all this stuff. So sounds good to me. So Wes, thanks for coming back. I know it's late over there in Dubai, but that was it. Everybody, I linked the YouTube channel for Wes for smart money tracking, and also for his X account. So follow him over there. If you're into that type of stuff, you know, it's between you and Wes. Always good stuff, my man. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Rob. Cheers, guys.
All right, let's get out of here. Everybody, relax, sphere of control. See you tomorrow.